Here we are at day 2 of Home Daily Bible Reading, Tuesday, April the 7th. Saul meets Jesus on the Damascus Road, Acts 9, 1 through 9. So this is the case of building the case that Jesus has risen from the resurrection. So we've seen him or risen from the grave. He has been resurrected. We have seen him. He's been seen of the women. He's been seen on going up to heaven. He's been seen on numerous occasions. And now here is Saul, later known as Paul, also seeing him. Chapter 9 of the book of Acts. And Saul, yet breathing out threatenings and slaughter against the disciples of the Lord, went into the high priest and desired of him letters to Damascus to the synagogues, that if he found any of this way, whether they were men or women, he might bring them bound to Jerusalem. And as he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shone round about him a light from heaven. And he fell to the earth, and heard a voice saying to him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And he said, Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Jesus, whom thou persecutest. It's hard for thee to pick against the pricks. And he, trembling and astonished, said, Lord, what will you have me to do? And the Lord said unto him, Arise, go into the city, and it shall be told thee what you must do. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man. And Saul arose from the earth. When his eyes were opened, he saw no man, but they led him by the hand and brought him into Damascus. And he was there 3 days without sight, neither did eat nor drink. So let's see who Saul is. Saul was a man who was a Jew, but he also had Roman background, or he had the history of the Roman people. Saul breathed out threatenings, got letters from the leaders of the Jews to destroy churches, to destroy anybody that called on the name of the Lord. Paul was that man who decided that if it was man or a woman, that they were going to be killed. Well, on his way, after he had gotten letters for both men and women, he had gotten letters so that he could bring them to Jerusalem so that they could be tried, so that they could be tormented, so that they could be silenced. He's on his way, and he has men with him. He's not by himself. He has men with him, and a great light from heaven shines down on him. So this light from heaven is this Jesus. Shines a light on him, blinds him. This light, Jesus is the light of the world. You have to walk in the light as he is in the light. And the scriptures go on and on about light. But this Jesus shines down on him, and he says, the light, the voice from the light says, Saul, Saul, why does you persecute me? And he says, well, I don't know who you are. Who are you that I'm persecuting you? Now remember that he has letters to go persecute people who are following after Christ. He says, I am Jesus who you persecute. It's hard for you to kick against the pricks. Saul says, Lord, what would you have me to do? And Jesus says, arise, go to the city, and it'll be told you what to do. So Christ doesn't give him everything that he needs to do. He didn't tell him that he is going to be a great warrior for Christians. He doesn't tell him a whole lot of things. He just says, go to the city, and it's going to be told you what you need to do. And then as he gets to the city, or as he gets this message, what happens is the men around him are like, they hear Saul talking, but they don't hear the voice from heaven. Why? The message wasn't to them. So Saul arose. When he opened his eyes, he was blind. and they brought him to Damascus, which is where he was going. They brought him to Damascus, and he was 3 days without food, 3 days without drink, 3 days of blindness. He could not see. And that's that Sunday school lesson leading up to the resurrection of Christ.